The very first shooting in Tacoma was the beginning of my journey all the way to Washington, D.C. During the next 9 months, John Muhammad trained me to be a killer.
Everybody thought it was John's son because he was just a kid. He was always with John. They would go to the Y every day, lift weights. At night, they might go for a run. It was like he was training him and basically getting him in shape for whatever they were going to do. If he had to take off and run a mile, I guess he was ready to run a mile, whatever. They would go to the shooting range. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm hanging with my dad, we're gonna go shoot, whatever,
He took me to the range, handgun range. He'd say, look, in order to do what we need to do, you have to become what I need you to be. And in order to do that, what you were has to die. I literally just became putty in his hands. And that's how he would perfect the monster he wanted to create. You have to go back and retrace your steps in Jamaica.
A mitigation specialist looks at factors in a person's life that influence their conduct.
My dad was 44. My mom was 19. They were a match made in hell. My father was the nurturer.
I love you very much. Very, very much.
My mom is the one with the plan.
One thing I would ask all fathers and mothers, be careful.
His father was the one who would intervene when his mother was too harsh in her punishment.
I was 5 years old at the time. I kind of became my mom's punching bag.
Then Lee came and said, Dada, I want to stay with you. But through going 3 and 4, when came on, I couldn't take leaving, and I'm very sorry about that.
And then my mother had to emigrate, go overseas to work, because the Jamaican economy wasn't rapid. I started moving from place to place. I was alone.
Lee went to the shop and he saw this man with his son.
It was what I wanted. It was Muhammad. Later on, after knowing him for about 2 or 3 months, we developed a deeper bond. That's the man I called my father. He told me he loved me. And so that made me feel needed and special. Muhammad and I arrived in Montgomery County around 4:50, 5 o'clock in the morning. Montgomery County is close to D.C. It was making a point. D.C. The epicenter. Symbolic. It's building bloodshed, murder, mayhem. They've done too much for too long. The culture built up on death. And since that's the only language that is understood, then that's the language we're going to speak. The first was a trial run. The next day, we're really going to get it done. We're going to kill 6 to 9 people a day. He said, I'm going to terrorize his mother. No mercy. I'm going to terrorize them. The evening proceedings, we already had a taste for, or a feel for, how this would work. And so, that day he actually wanted 10. We already had 15 to 20 locations already set up. Some of them were in parking lots. Some of them storefronts or strip malls or across the street. We had so many different areas to move at. The plan was psychological devastation. It was normal. It had become regimented and routine. Muhammad was satisfied in that he'd accomplished his end. Fear.
It's amazing to me that somebody could actually shoot 13 people without leaving any evidence behind.
That fingerprint from the magazine that was found at a shooting in Montgomery, Alabama, our task force decided, let's run that fingerprint against the database, which includes immigration records. And there was a match. Who is Lee Boyd Malvo? Who may he be associated with?
There was a photograph included with his immigration information. And then I saw references within that record to John Allen Muhammad or John Allen Williams.
Breaking developments in this case, a man wanted for questioning by the name of John Allen Williams or John Allen Muhammad.
It's going to be an enormous manhunt by virtually everybody in the country at this point.
Muhammad and I, we had been killing people for months. To get away with it.
If you're in traffic tonight, police activity continues on Interstate 95.
But somewhere deep inside I knew
Look for sudden slowdowns or stop traffic. Follow police
this
directions. Some areas
will not end well.
It may be the oddest race we've ever seen, the race going on to see which state can try, sentence, and execute the two sniper suspects.
Virginia prosecutors could pursue capital murder charges against the 17-year-old suspect Malvo if he is tried as an adult.
You know and I know what's probably going to happen to him. How can you do that?
Lee's dedication to John Muhammad was absolute. In my mind, Lee was simply an instrument that was being controlled and manipulated by John Muhammad. But we recognize that that mitigation, if properly presented, should be enough to save his life. And one of our colleagues had a Jamaican heritage, and we asked her to assist us.
I was tasked with reconnecting Lee Malvo to his life prior John Muhammad.
Walking in and seeing him, it was very traumatic. When he was a child, Lee needed a mother, and I had taken Lee in. What he craved most was forgiveness.
And then the following day we went back and it was a totally different person.
He kept saying that all that night he just heard voices. Voices compelling him to remain loyal. And he was now struggling because Lee's like that. He will protect whoever loves him. And I remember I just couldn't take it anymore.
And this teacher, she was crying. I mean, there were tears that were just coming down her cheeks. And she said, Lee, you've got to promise me that you've got to tell them what happened to you. And he said, it's going to be hard, Miss Maxwell, but I'm going to try.
These were heinous crimes. Yeah, he did all these murders, he shot all these people. But how do you put a child to death? And you sit back and look at how he got in the situation that he was in. Was he really that responsible? He's not the same as Muhammad. So I'm okay with the fact that he wasn't put to death.
I am 33 years old. And I've been in solitary for 16 years. I did some very bad things. Some terrible things. Sorry is not enough.